Hey guys, how we doing? Thanks for catching the replay. Appreciate you being here. So I first and foremost, I'm coming to you from Hotel Internet, and if you've ever tried to use Hotel Internet, you know how that can be. So I'm popping on here first and foremost to make sure that the connection is good enough that I can do my broadcast with you here today. If not, we're going to try it on my phone. So we're going to get into some stuff today. We're going to talk about what I think is the first step and the most important step for any business owner, any entrepreneur, and that is crafting your vision and crafting it the right way. So we're going to talk about that and a lot of powerful stuff to go over. Yeah, it says blurry, but voice is good. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. So I have my team standing by out in California. So, okay, so here's my question. If you guys can do me a favor, before we jump into this today, I know I'm blurry, and so you let me know, hey, Melanie, is that okay with you? Like, I'd like to get your permission. Would you like me to keep going with this? Or I can sign off and do it with my phone. So you let me know if that's okay, and then we'll go from there. And I'll see if you guys can leave something in the comment. Hey, Jason, nice to see you. Okay, so Katrine said keep going. Good. Any other opinions on this? So again, it's internet. It's a Hotel Internet. What can you do? So I'll keep going for now, but I appreciate you guys putting up with it. Maybe you can just close your eyes. You can hear me, not see me. So first and foremost, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. So we're broadcasting this on my page and inside our free private group, the Business by Design community. So there might be some people that are just like stumbling here for the first time finding me. Hello, my name is James Wedmore, and I help turn online experts, course creators, membership site owners into inner-driven digital CEOs. And I do that by giving them the systems and processes and the structure they need to create scalability in their business, which ultimately results in more freedom in their life. And I've been running online businesses now for 10 years. And there's obviously a lot I've learned over the years, but one of the things that I see entrepreneurs struggling so much today is a combination of how overwhelmed they are with all the different strategies and the techniques and things that they feel forced they have to do before they could ever even make their first dollar online. And then I see how ineffective people are being inside of their business to produce results, to take action. And they end up focusing most of their time and energy on the wrong things. And when you learn how to focus your time and energy on the right things, you can actually begin to produce a business or have a business that produces the type of results that you hear so many other people talking about. If you don't, what happens is you get this feeling where you're just an employee in your own business, more like 4 or 5 employees, right? So we just released last Thursday an 8-part video series entitled The Rise of the Digital CEO. And what I did is I did 2 things. First of all, I showed you that smart and successful, any business owner, but we speak specifically to online business owners, look at their business like a machine, not a job, not a role, not here's all the things and the to-dos and the stuff that I've got to do. Okay, so it looks like I'm getting no sound now. Is that? I might just go, you guys. I might just go to my phone. Let me see what the team's saying to me. So sorry, guys. Let me. You know what? Like, the internet's just so bad here. I'm just gonna go on my phone. So I'm gonna lose all you guys, and that's such a bummer. But it's gonna be so much better. No, you can hear me. Sound is fine. Okay. Well, I'll keep going then. It's internet. All right. So sounds good. All right. So when you begin to look at your business like a machine and not 10 jobs that you have to fulfill on yourself, we realize that we get to design that machine any way that we want. And that's really what I want you to do. When you're so busy working in your business, you never stop and take a moment to look at it from outside. Okay? And that is why we call my flagship program Business by Design. because you actually have a say in how this business gets created and where you decide to invest your time, your effort, and energy, and what type of life you get to create around it. Okay, so in that video series, I introduced that concept of looking at your business as a machine. So if you haven't already signed up for our free series, it's going away soon, and you can binge watch it pretty fast. By the way, for those of you who have watched it, I'd love your feedback and encouragement to get other people to watch it as well, because we spent over 6.5 months working on the videos, and they're pretty epic. But what we did is, once we introduced the concept of the machine to you, I share with you the 5 ingredients. And guys, yeah, sorry if there's any audio problems. It is what it is. So if it gets really bad for a while, just let me know, and I'll switch to phone. I share with you the 5 core ingredients to next week. Next Friday is the last day, and then we're closing down the videos. So I share with you the 5 ingredients, or what I call the 5 gears that run that business. So today we run a multiple 7-figure business, my wife and I, and we identified the 5 things that we believe have attributed to that success. And a lot of these things are the things that other people are ignoring, they're forgetting, they're choosing to not focus on, and then they wonder why they stay stuck. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate the feedback. So what I'm going to be doing every day for the next 5 days is sharing with you and going deeper with you, especially for those who've already completed the series. This is going to be extremely beneficial for you. But don't worry, if you haven't watched the series, go do that after this. Diana just posted a link. It's jameswedmore.com/rise. And we're going to focus each day on one of the specific gears or ingredients that we bake into our business. And so today we're going to speak specifically to vision. Now, the thing with vision is, and this idea of vision is, most people don't think it's that relevant. Most entrepreneurs are like, yeah, just tell me what to do. And I cannot tell you how backwards that is. Okay, so the great analogy that I have is if you were the captain of a ship, and you imagine you're the captain, like running the ship, and you have a crew of people that you have to lead. How effective would you be at captaining the ship if you had no idea where you were going? What do you think would happen if you had no rudder, no compass, and no map, and you just decide to take a group of people out on a boat into uncharted territory and say, all right, let's just figure it out? Now, obviously, you wouldn't do that. You just get lost at sea, and then, like, who knows what would happen, right? You have a mutiny on the ship. So that makes sense. You wouldn't do that. But the question we have to ask is, are you doing that in your business? Are you letting whatever comes up in front of you, like a fire you've got to put out, a problem, an issue, or the latest tactic or strategy that someone dangles in front of you, rip you away from whatever you're doing, and you react instead of being proactive? That's what happens when you're not, and you'll hit an iceberg. Thank you, Bob. That's what happens when you're not guided by a vision. And the way that shows up for you is, not only are you overworked, but there's no clarity. So when people say they have no clarity and they have no focus and they have no plan, it's because, I guarantee you, they don't have a vision. So this is the most under talked about thing, and it's the most important. And I really hope you get that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, the first thing I want to say is that people get in their head about vision, and they think, like, look, I'm not up to, like, change the world. This isn't some, like, I'm going to heal the planet kind of thing. Like, I just want to make some money or something on the side, or maybe just quit my job. Okay, so let's just reframe vision for you right now. Okay, vision is the outcome you want to experience. It's the destination. And there's the ultimate destination in our lives and in our business. And then there are milestones along the way. Okay, so I am here running a multiple 7-figure a year business with a team, getting to travel, getting to connect with amazing people, blah, 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 all that stuff. Because at one point in my past, I created a vision of this reality. but now I have a bigger vision. So then people get in their head and they start to say, well, I don't want to limit myself with my vision, and I don't want to think too big that I just end up disappointing myself. And we really want to let go of that, all that notion, because all of that stuff and story just prevents us from getting clarity. So here's the first way that we're going to start doing this. Now, again, we cover this in detail in episode number 3 of my series. So if you haven't seen episode 1, 2, and 3, I would advise you to do that today, because tomorrow we're jumping into the most effective marketing processes that we're using in my business. Okay. But vision is number 1. So the question I want to ask you, and if you have some note paper, like I take notes, this is going to be beneficial for you. So if you're building a business, like who here is building a business, right? You're building a business. So what does the done business look like? If you are building a house, what does the finished house look like? And a lot of people say, well, I don't know. Thank you for watching it 3 times. I appreciate that. Well, I don't know, Jay. I have no idea what's realistic and what's possible. So the first thing I want to say, and of course we go deeper into this process inside Business by Design, but here's the first piece. The moment you don't know how to do something, your old way of being is you just decide, I don't know how, therefore I won't do it. And that's so backwards. So what I like to say, and you can repeat it with me, F the how for now. What you got to get is there's no point having a vision if the vision isn't bigger than you. And I mean that in 2 ways. First of all, the vision has to be bigger than you in that it has to be the result is more than anything you've ever experienced before. It has to be big enough that it rips you out of the bed in the morning and gets you to start asking, what do I have to let go of? And who do I need to be? And what do I need to do differently to become the person I need to become to fulfill on this vision? It has to be bigger than who you are right now. Otherwise, you just keep getting more of what you've already gotten. So if you like where you're at right now and you want to stay there, then you don't really need a vision. But maybe you do, because normally if you're not growing, you're dying, right? But if you want more, if you want to experience more, create more, accomplish more, help more, impact more, the vision has to be something in the realm of the unknown right now. It has to be outside your comfort zone. So if it doesn't scare you a little bit, you're playing too safe. What's the point of going after something big and doing something never done before if you're going to continue to play safe? Okay, so another way to look at this, and I'm just going to give you different access points for you. What is the essence of what I want? Like if we blurred it a little bit, not the how, not the strategy, not the way, but the end product. And we'll dive in and I'll ask some more specifics. But I said it needs to be bigger than you, and I mean that in 2 ways. So number 1, it has to be a result that you've never been able to experience thus far. So it'll take something from you showing up differently than you've ever shown up in your life. And when you get that, like I know it's a cliche. I know it's a cliche to say it's the journey, not the destination. But a lot of times there's more truth than you realize in those cliches. It's who you get to discover that you are and what you're made of on the path. And you can't do that if you first don't have a big vision. But the other way, number 2, that your vision needs to be bigger than you is we need to, and this comes from my own personal experience and everyone else I talk to, is it needs to be about more than just you. Like version 1.0 of me was like, I just want to make money on the internet. And that was 10 years ago. And that was great. And that happened. But what keeps me driving today, what keeps me getting out of bed or working when like I don't want to, because we all have those days, is when I realize that this isn't about me and it's who I get to serve. Okay. For those who don't know my story, I struggled for a very long time. I was 4.5 years of living at my parents in my mid-20s and being broke. And just not only that, but I was working 12 to 14-hour days. I got addicted to Adderall. I dropped down to like 145 pounds. For a 6-foot person, that's like a skeleton. And I was just a workaholic. Lost all friends. Girlfriend dumped me at the time. And I was working 12 to 14-hour days and like not a dollar. I was fortunate enough to be living with my parents, so I didn't have to pay rent or anything. I didn't have a family, but I wouldn't ever wish that on anybody. And so part of our focus today is showing others that they don't have to go through that struggle that I did, that when you learn to get out of your way faster, because that's all I was doing, was I was afraid. So I was getting in my own way and self-sabotaging, that when you learn how to get out of your own way, you can have results so much faster. And so our big vision today is about creating breakthroughs for online entrepreneurs and business owners. Now, creating a breakthrough is about getting someone to experience or accomplish something that they didn't think was possible. Something that's really a miracle for them. And so your vision should be bigger than what you think is possible right now. And it should not be about you. It can, there's nothing wrong with that, but I would always encourage that you're going to give yourself rocket fuel when you make it about who you can help and how you help them. Part of our vision includes also having the best damn video series in the industry. Hopefully we fulfill on that, but they're pretty good and the feedback's been pretty amazing. So, and I have a 10-year vision as well that's bigger than my 5-year and my 1-year. But it's all in the same trajectory, okay? So why this is so important is when you have an essence of a vision, which could just be which direction to head in, okay? So like if you look at a map, let's just say a map of the United States for right now. You could go anywhere on this map. You go to a specific city, you go to a specific address on a block in that town. And that's, really specific. And that might be why you're struggling to come up with the vision, because you think it needs to be specific. So what I would invite you to do as you consider your vision, by the way, you already have the vision. It's just because it's a feeling inside of you. You just don't know how to communicate it and you're scared to speak it. Okay. So when we just say, what's the essence? It's not about saying, okay, what is the exact coordinates on a map? It's, hey, what direction are you going? Are you going north? Are you going south? Are you going east or west? And if you just softened it a bit, if you just blurred it and said, what is the essence of my vision? What's the direction I'm going in? Who do I serve? How am I going to help them? What type of business is that going to look like? Why do we do this? Where are we going? When you start to do this, a lot of things happen. First of all, you begin to get clarity. Clarity comes through action. Okay? But don't make the mistake that so many entrepreneurs make, that they think they have to have the entire plan, A to Z. I need to see all the pieces. I got to have all the steps before I can get started. Knowing that first step, whether it's I'm going to go north, south, east, or west, will present the next step and the next step and the next step, because action creates clarity. But you're not going to get any clarity if you're waiting for all the pieces and all the steps. So the moment you have a destination, at least a direction, you begin to get clarity on what's that first step for you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that it fuels you. It drives you on the days that you don't feel like working. The third thing is it becomes the glue that attracts your audience. People always ask me, James, how do you build a following? How do you build a list? what most people don't tell you and most people never get is they think list building is just a bunch of tactics and action steps. Well, you got to do this step, and then you got to do that step, and then if you put in the opt-in and you send the traffic there, you'll get the list. Sure, that's great, and those actions work. But have you ever considered that if you want to build a following, you have to first be a leader? Most people don't really talk about that. Who wants to follow somebody that isn't a leader in some way? So what's a leader? A leader is someone who has a vision and isn't afraid to go towards that vision. So when you craft that vision, this becomes the glue. This becomes the light in the moth, the flame that the moths get attracted towards. You will attract more people when you are clear on what your vision is and saying, this is where we're going, who's with me? But most people aren't doing that. Most people are not doing that at all. So look to the people that you already follow. Notice that there's a reason that you follow them besides they asked me to opt in for something, so I just did it. There's something about who they are and what they represent and what they stand for that has you continue to follow them. With my podcast, for anybody who listens to the podcast, this is a great example. So we run a podcast now for about 2.5 years. It's called the Mind Your Business Podcast. And it's for business owners and entrepreneurs. But all I do is talk about mindset and spirituality. And part of my mission and my vision with the podcast is to bring the unspoken topics like your mindset and your relationship with money and energy and selling and all that stuff, the inner game and the inner world, to the forefront of an online marketing conversation. And the more I speak to that vision and the more I get clarity on, I want to be the person that introduces a left brain marketer to a right brain, heart-centered conversation, the more our podcast grows. So if you want to continue to put vision on the afterburner, chances are it's because you're afraid of your vision, and that's awesome. Have the courage, demonstrate the courage, be the courage to start speaking that vision, because that's when you're going to attract the right people. I've told this to my audience before. Thank you, Nico. I appreciate that. That me launching that podcast was the scariest thing I've ever done in business. Scariest thing I've ever done. Now, it was scary for me because for 6 or 7 years, I'd been the video guy. So, hey, I'm talking about video, which camera to use, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, I was going to tell my entire video audience, oh, by the way, here's my beliefs on spirituality and woo-woo stuff. And Kim said, yeah, your vision should be scary. Absolutely. So that was really scary for me. But I was clear on my vision. I was clear on the direction I was going. It wasn't all mapped out. Who I was then and the ideas I had now is different than where I am now. But I got started and I kept moving. Okay. Now, the third thing, for those of you guys who have a team, want a team, know, because you're smart, that you need a team, even if it's a part-time VA, that the vision trickles down to the team. They need the motivation too, or the inspiration. They need to know, why am I doing this? Why am I choosing to put my time, effort, and energy and my resources into somebody else's business? And when the vision is big enough, you will find team members that align with the vision and want to be a part of something. So this is the most under-talked thing. And if you're serious, like if you're just a dabbler and you're like, I just want to make some money on the internet on my side, like blah, 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 this is not the conversation for you. It's really not. I'm speaking now to the person that wants to build a 7 to multiple 7 to an 8-figure business, that they really do want to do something and they want to do it big and they want to play it full out. And if you think you can do that without first starting here, and by the way, give yourself permission for this to be messy, to be incomplete, and for this to change, you're not going to get very far without the vision. So I hope I've done a good job of communicating how valuable that this is, even though it may not seem that way to you. So how can we start crafting it? Well, here's the problem. Brittany! Nice to see you again. So here's the problem. Once I now have this conversation and I can motivate or inspire some people to say, okay, great, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start working on this, you're about to find yourself with a giant pitfall. And we all do this. So I like to geek out and read like science magazines. And I read a magazine on the plane yesterday. It was like a Science Monthly kind of thing. And it was talking about neuroscience. And I read something to the effect that 70% of your brain activity, like the thoughts, have to do with your brain predicting your future based on its experiences of the past. So 70% of brain activity is your brain attempting to predict what's coming next based on its experiences of the past. So a simple example of this is, have you ever like walked down steps and you thought that there was another step, but there wasn't? And you kind of had that like, oh, I thought there was another step there, right? Your brain had already made the decision. We predict there's another step and there isn't, and you like stumble, right? So your brain is doing that all day long. So the problem with that is that it's using the information of the past, the experiences of the past, to predict your future. And so what we do when someone when someone like myself says, okay, like we got to craft a vision, how much of our vision of the future is based off of our experiences of the past or our circumstances of the present? How many of the decisions are we making about our future are based off of the constraints of where we are right now in our lives? Like, okay, James is great, but I got a job, I got kids, I've got these clients, I've got bills, I've got the debt, I've got all these things. These are circumstances in our current life, in our reality, and we're using those to help determine what is then possible for us. Is that really realistic? Is that possible? Is that logical? Can I really do that? Am I really capable of that? Blah, 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 blah. And anytime you have a conversation of crafting a vision around what you think is logical or realistic, you've already missed the point. You might as well not even try. The whole point of crafting a vision is to create something for yourself intentionally that is free of anything that might be present in your life right now or anything that's happened to you in the past. And so the way I look at it is to say, here's your life with all your notes and your things that you have. Like maybe it's the money in the bank account, maybe it's the job, it's the amount of hours you have, it's all the other things. And they say, great, we've got these things and they are what they are. I'm not denying them. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm not saying they're not important. They are what they are. But the question I'm really ultimately asking of you, if you were to sit down and do this work, would be to say, if you could have a clean slate, if you could start with a blank canvas and choose what to have your life look like, and choose how your day goes, how your week goes, what would you put in here? What would you fill in? And even when I begin to ask that question, how many of you start to go back to, well, what's realistic? Or how would I do that? Or how long does that take? You're already missing the point. You're missing the point. So the way you have to be able to do this is find a way to access a place of creating a future that has nothing to do with your current circumstances. So one way we could do this is to say, like in the video series, I give an example, I give an exercise, and there's a workbook, and I recommend going through that if you haven't. But I'm going to give you another way. So there's a way in the workbook and the video series, episode 3, But we're going to do another way. It's very simple. If you just had a magic wand and you could wave that magic wand and have the done business and the life that you want, what would that look like? Because now when we create this like mystical, magical element of introducing a magic wand, we can start to suspend the logical and the realistic for just a moment. We can begin to think and visualize and imagine something that is bigger than us, something that hasn't been possible in the past, something that might just take a miracle to create. But that's the point. That's the point. Last year, my wife and I were able to travel the world, and we went to 15 different places, both in the US and overseas. We just got back from an Italy trip this last month. We just bought our dream home, and there's an Instagram highlight story I have that shares a story of how that was our vision for 3 years to buy our dream home. And I said, December 1st, 2017, we will have our dream home. Well, we put our offer in for our dream home on December 3rd and closed about 2 weeks later. So when you take the time to suspend the existing reality and the existing circumstances in your life and just put that to the side for a moment and look to create something new, you might be surprised what miracles start showing up in your life. But if we don't do this, we're like a bag in the wind. You're just going to stay reactive to whatever goes on in your life, whether it's the fires you got to put out, the emergencies, time, etc. So I'd love to hear from you guys. I really would. If anyone would like to share anything that they want in their vision, and most of you don't want to share it, and that's good, because it means it's a little scary to put that out there. But I want you to start to recognize where that fear already is, and even like where that is in your body. Like, do you feel it in your chest? And it kind of like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to, it sounds stupid, I don't want to share it, or like people are going to think it's not possible. But you can begin to be a little bit more courageous when you begin to share that. So if there's anyone that would like to demonstrate courage and share anything that's really coming up for you in crafting your vision, I'd love for you to start, and people already are, so that's awesome. So Michelle says, let me bring some of these up on the screen here. Yeah, so Michelle says to live my personal day each day. Good, and I would start to get really specific. Like, what does that look like? What is my personal day? And like, how do I define that? And how will I know when I've done that? Good, and Sarah said consistent. Hey, Sarah, nice to see you, by the way. Consistent family vacations. Good, and you could even get more specific like that, like, and be really fun with it. Like, I want to take a vacation every quarter, and I want the kids coming with me every time. You know, you could start to do things like, I want to do like a retreat or a workshop or business while we're on vacation, and it gets turned into a vacation. One of the things that Chelsea and I love to do is staycations. So we always do things like we'll stay at our favorite hotels in our own town, just in the middle of the week, randomly. No reason, no special occasion, just because we want to. Let's see, I'm going to bring some more up. Lori says, I'm loving building my agency, but can't wrap my head around how it can turn into a 7-figure business. Great. So this is what I'm looking for right now. So thank you, Lori. Now, I want you all to get this. I didn't say anything about how. So right now, Lori, I just want you to suspend everything that you have, and this because the business that you've built as an agency is what you've done in the past. Okay, up until this moment on this live. And so it's just about checking in and saying, what do I want? Now, do you want a 7-figure business? Do you truly want that? Then just write that down. And don't worry about the how. I really, 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 really mean that. F the how for now. Because if Lori truly wants a 7-figure business, and look at what she said, but I can't wrap my head around how to do it, she's immediately going to say no to her dreams. She's immediately going to say no to her vision. And this is what I don't want anyone doing. The reason so many of my students experience breakthrough results is because of this first piece right here. We get rid of logic and how from the get-go. Right now, that's all we've been running off of, is what I know how to do. So eventually, you're going to be capped and limited to only the information you know. And that's limiting. So get rid of the details. Not just Lori, but everybody. I want a 7-figure business. Okay, great. And how much like profit or revenue or salary do you want from that? And what else does that look like in your life? Don't worry about where that comes from right now. Does it really have to come from an agency, or could it come from something else? We don't know yet. And that's the point. You should not know, and it should scare the crap out of you a bit. But that's really good. Okay, so Winifred says, to stay focused on the next level of my business. Okay, great. This is a perfect example too, just to offer some unsolicited coaching here. I hear so many people saying, like, I want to take my business to the next level. Well, what does the next level mean for you? What exactly is the next level? How will you, because if you don't have that answer, even the essence of it, you'll never know when you get there. And you'll always be chasing this next level, next level, next level, next level. So Winifred, I would really encourage you to say, well, what does that look like? How will I know when I've hit that next level? What's the next phase for me? And flush that out. I love how Saad also says, consistent family vacations. Love it. Brittany, let's see what Brittany said. I haven't nailed down my exact vision. Good. And it doesn't need to be exact. I don't need it to be exact, and neither do you. But all I know is I want to help women love themselves and be nice to themselves and not so hard on themselves through inspiring, educating, and empowering them. That's a beautiful first place to start. And then you might want to ask, what becomes possible for them when they begin loving themselves? So like you're even expanding that vision for them. Now, Brittany's got the part for the people she's serving, the impact part. Okay? So the vision should include two things, really, in the basics, income and impact. So she's got the impact part. But she could say how many women. She could start to put a number on it. You know, and there's ways that you can measure it through like podcast downloads or likes on your fan page, right? But like, I want to reach 100,000 women in the next 18 months and show them how to love themselves so they can blank. So that anything can be possible for them in their lives. But now let's turn it back to Brittany and say, when you've done that, what does your business look like? How much revenue is the business generating? How many hours are you working? Where are you spending your time? What do you get to spend? For a long time, when I was just doing my video business, my vision was I want to get paid to make videos. It's as simple as that. I want to get paid to make videos. I want to make fun videos that I love making, and I want to get paid a lot of money. And I did. That's really good. Let's go through a few more. Okay, so Michelle says, I've been struggling with whether to go in the business direction or the spiritual direction. I'm a business coach and a past life regressionist medium. Awesome. I'm seeing now that the vision may be where the two roads can connect, or where I can connect the dots. Absolutely. But let's even drop the struggle from this. That right now, and you're already moving past it, so that's fantastic, Michelle. But notice, yes, you are making this an either or conversation, and that's the big thing with a vision. It's like, it's not about, oh, should I go north or should I go east? It's like, oh, I'm going to go northeast. Okay, so why choose and make it an A or B conversation? This or that? You've already limited yourself. Really creating a vision is about saying, this is the result. This is it. Like, this is what I'm doing. And it might be both. It might be a blend of the both. It might be, no, I want to start with one and I want to do one later. but that's because you choose free from a circumstance or free from this idea that it has to be one or the other. And it doesn't. We still teach a ton of people how to use video in their business. We do a podcast that talks about spirituality in business, and I run a program called Business by Design that teaches business and marketing. So that's how I said I want things to go. And we created that. And I did that without knowing exactly how that would look at first. Okay. But yes, I love where she's moving. I'm now seeing that the vision may be where the two roads can connect. Totally. But then also, whether you're serving this group or that group, what type of results do you have in your life? How much revenue is the business producing? How many hours are you working? How much free time do you have? What do you get to do? What does your life look like? What does the business look like? And even the assets is going to be huge. Okay. Yeah. Marissa says, when I think about my vision, I definitely get a heavy feeling in my stomach. Good. You know what? Sit with that for a little bit. I have a vision that I'm not really too ready to share, but I mean, I don't mind sharing, but my 10-year vision for where I want to take our company, which is it'll be much more, the only word I can use right now is like mainstream. Like right now we focus on online experts and coaches and authors and speakers, anyone who wants to do digital products. But where we want to take it is much more mainstream to any entrepreneur, business owner who wants to do, business transformational work. And when I first had that, saw that in my mind, it scared the crapola out of me. And I've just trained myself over and over again, and this is just the best advice I can give right now, that when I feel that fear, it means I'm going in the right direction. It's scared that it doesn't as much anymore, but it's scared the crap out of me. So don't go for the thing that feels safe and easy, because that's just more of the same. It's scary only because it's uncertain and it's unknown. But that's what makes your life exhilarating. That's what makes this journey so exciting. Because you're going to have to do something that you've never done before. You're going to have to show up in a way that you've never shown up before and see what you're really made of. And ultimately, I think that's what we want. That's what I believe. Okay. Yeah. So Katana, this is great. So Katana says, I find that I go back and forth between the vision and my current circumstances. James, how did you navigate this? So the first step is recognizing it. So for example, here's an example of me working from circumstances. I said, anytime there's a but, you're working from your circumstances. So I want to do $10 million in revenue, but I don't want to work anymore. I don't want to work longer hours. I was working from a circumstance that said I had to spend more of my time and effort if I wanted to make more. And so instead, it's about going to the outcome of, say, $10 million and say, okay, well, how many hours do I want to work? And let's say I said I only want to work 4 hours a day. Then it's, what does building a $10 million a year business look like when you're only working 4 hours a day? So the way to get out of the circumstance to me is to ask a better question. So if right now it's like Katana saying, hey, I'm just gonna make something up. Like I want to hit my first 6 figures, but I have a job. I'm just making this up. I don't know you enough, Katana, to say that. And so you're saying right now I have this job, so I can't do that. So you could start to ask a question to say, how might I hit 6 figures when I currently have this job? And you might say, well, I need to quit the job first. So you say, okay, what would I need to do in order to quit that job without putting myself into a financial burden, right? How could I start to create something on the side first? So it's about going to the end. It's about going to the outcome and starting to ask a better question and starting to look. Now, I believe we all intuitively know the answers, but we're not asking ourselves good enough questions. And so we just throw our hands up and say we're stuck or overwhelmed. So I hope that offers something for you, Katana. Am I pronouncing your name right? Is it how do I pronounce your name? Ace? Launching time of BBD2 is a miracle coming towards me to make my dreams happen. I wrote my vision based 2 weeks ago. That's awesome. So for those of you guys who are just popping on or hanging out, we released our video series last Thursday, jameswhitmore.com/rise. It's an 8-part series that you can binge watch today, right now. And then next week, we are opening the doors, enrollment into my signature flagship business and marketing training program called Business by Design. I'm really excited to share with you guys all the details and all the exciting stuff we have coming. So this week, make sure to watch the entire series and hang out with me on these lives so I can support you as much as possible. Let me keep going. Look at some comments real quick. I love Georgie say explore the world with my kids. Love it. Kim says, I'm an influencer of influencers through collaborations where we love lavishly, share transparency, and serve fearlessly all over the world. I love it. Peter says, hey, Peter, I just posted my version of vision and mission statements for my business and my part in that business on my Facebook business page and Instagram. Powerful. Yeah, Jilly, currently doing a launch week workcation. That's like our favorite thing to do. Zariah says to create a program that changes 1 million who've had abuse so they know proactive love and learn to thrive. Now, let me ask you, is that powerful? Like, is an audience going to be able to really stand behind that and start to follow Zariah? Is Zariah going to have an easier time attracting people to help her? You betcha. And is she going to get there quicker? See, what most of you guys still don't get is that when the vision is bigger than you and it's about who you're serving and how you're helping, you're not going to sabotage yourself as much as you have been. See, I put an episode on the podcast yesterday about the concept of the authority deception. And we are pumping the brakes so hard in our business because we keep saying, but who am I to do this? Who am I to do this? I'm not the expert. Oh my gosh, all this, I don't like the attention on me. I'm not a big extrovert. I'm not a big braggart kind of person. I'm not a show off, blah, 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 blah. And I just want to say, what are you talking about? That's not what this is about. This isn't a popularity contest. This isn't about getting attention. If you think it is, you're up for a really big, rude awakening. This is about helping somebody else. And the only people that last and have true staying power in this industry are those that stepped into that place of service and made it about something bigger than themselves. So if you're doubting yourself, if you're doubting that you're the expert, or if you're good enough, understand that it's never been a conversation of whether or not you're good enough. It's a conversation of your commitment to help others. And if your commitment isn't there, like you don't really have the desire and you don't really care, good luck. Good luck. But if it is, then you don't have to let those stories and beliefs about yourself stop you anymore. Because when it's who am I to be doing this, and that's what you keep asking yourself, that is probably the most selfish question you can be asking, because all you're saying is that I'm more concerned about what other people think of me and what they say about me, and I'm more concerned about being judged than I am about helping others. And I'm sorry if that offends or hurts anybody, but it's true. When you keep saying, who am I? All you're concerned about is yourself, and this is not about you. It's not about you. And the quicker you get that, the quicker you'll rise. And don't take my word for it. You can go ask anybody else out there that's got a huge following, that's making a ton of impact and making a ton of money. And you can go try it yourself and prove me wrong. Okay? So I love that, Zariah. Thank you. Bob says, I'm loving to build a health coaching business that is related to environmental concerns, doing both group coaching and speaking to larger audiences. Love it. I love that you guys are all sharing, by the way. You guys are great. Julie says, the dream is to move back to SoCal in a beach house. Yes, that was our dream too. Tara, how are you doing? To be able to afford extra legroom on a flight and to stop always hunting for the best deal. That's beautiful. Like those things, like they're like so simple and so real for us. And I love that because there will come a point in time in Tara's life. Is it Tara? I forget. I'm so sorry. In Mrs. Walsh's life, where she'll be on that plane and that flight attendant will say, "What would you like, Mrs. Walsh? Would you like another glass of champagne?" And she'll like have her little eye mask on and with champagne in her hand and like lean back in the chair and be like, "Oh, look at that. I did it." And she'll know it. And that's awesome. Now, Michelle says, I'm still researching who I can serve. But even if you say that, there's a desire to serve. So remember I said, blur the vision. What's the essence? Well, I want to help people. I don't know what that looks like right now, but I know I want to help. Great. So that's where you're at. And then we can start to fill that in. Peter says, I want to own my first home and be able to see my family in Europe 3 times a year. I love that. Yes, Shay said get rid of the details. Okay, so Catherine says, wait, I'm confused now. This is where we like to go. Being confused takes us out, right? It's easy to get confused. So Catherine and others who might feel confused, stay with me and stay in it, because it's a lot easier to be confused than to declare a bigger vision. When I envision the end result, what I want my life to look like, I don't need to imagine it'll be my prop business or my pattern business that takes me there. No, you don't. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to clarify this, Catherine, because this is huge. You're so much, not you, Catherine, but people here, you're so much more focused on the how than the what. And I remember when I first heard this, like, no, I just need you to just tell me what to do. So for those that are being open and coachable to receive this, it's the what first. And it doesn't matter what the thing is. Michelle, thanks for listening to my episode 170. Was that was that the one that just came live? Or was that Friday's episode? I'm trying to look it up. Oh, well, I'm logged out. Thank you. Yeah, Winifred says a membership launch. Got it. Jonna, if I'm pronouncing your name right, 40K monthly residual income would be next level. I love that. Getting specific. It's okay to not get specific right now. It's better than nothing. Teresa says to live at the beach, enjoying my children, grandchildren, 7-figure business. Good. Love it. Ton of comments. I'm doing my best to go through as many of them. So Nathalie, and is it Natalie? Is that how would I pronounce your name? So how would Business by Design help me wrap my business around my family, husband, and other businesses that we have? Sometimes it's hard when you have little kids, a husband, and other business to keep ahead with your dream. Okay. Perfect example of us operating from our circumstances, right? It's hard to do something because I have these other things. And so then we start to say no to ourselves because we've already told ourselves it's hard. We've already told ourselves how much more challenging it's going to be. So the first thing is how Business by Design can help is we show you how to craft a life and business free from circumstances. Right now, you're starting to create something based on what you think is possible because of all the other stuff you have in your life. Versus saying, what do I truly want in my life? We want this business making this much money. We want this much time with our kids. We want to be able to do this with our family, this much free time, blah, blah, blah. Great. That's the vision. What does that look like? Because one of the big pieces that we bring to the table in Business by Design is we show you how to create the structure and the team so that it's not you working 12 hours a day for like less than minimum wage in your own darn business. Okay. So that's a big answer right there for you. So I hope that helps. I'm just going to go through a few more of these. This is great. John says, I make freaking awesome Rocky Road. I love it. And the ultimate goal is to have a network of stores around the world that provide me and my family with the lifestyles we want. My fear is not knowing how to market the concept effectively in the beginning. Yeah, totally get it. It's fear because it's unknown. The question is, are you going to back down because something is unknown? Because that's what most people do. I don't know how, therefore I can't. Therefore I shouldn't. It's crazy. It's crazy because when we were kids, we never did this. I don't know how to walk, so therefore I won't. I don't know how to ride a bike, so therefore I won't. And we reach a certain age, and we're like, I don't know how to do something, therefore I can't. Right? And again, it's scary. It's scary because we've never done it before. But it doesn't mean we don't have to do it. Love it, Michelle. I want to get paid to inspire and guide women how to live their best life inside and out. Yeah, Shay said, so the scary thing is the direction we should go? Yes, absolutely. Think about that for a moment. Why does it scare you? If you ask yourself, where do I want to go? What do I want? What's the essence of it? And whatever comes up for you scares you. Why would it scare you? Why would you come up with something that would then scare you? The reason it scares us is because it's outside your comfort zone. You've seen the cliche of life begins outside your comfort zone. So it's beyond what is comfortable for you. It's in the realm of unknown and uncertainty. Anything that's outside your comfort zone is going to scare you because it's outside your comfort zone. But your comfort zone, which is there to keep you safe, but safe from what? We'll get into that in a second. When you just live inside your comfort zone, you repeat your circumstances. Let me say that again. When you live 100% of your time in your comfort zone, you just repeat your circumstances. So if you feel like I've been spinning my wheels, I've been doing work, I've been taking courses, and I'm not growing, I'm not getting different results, I'm exactly where I was or worse, it's because you're living and operating in your comfort zone. You're doing what's safe. You're doing what you know how. You're doing what's comfortable. You're doing what's easy. And you're expecting great things to happen out here when you're staying in here. So yes, we do the thing that we want to move in the direction of the thing that scares us. Abso-freaking-lutely. Marissa, thank you. Just looking at a couple of comments. Tiffany's here. Yeah, it's a great question. Or great quote. It's actually Richard Bandler that said this: the quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask. Most of us are not asking good questions. Thank you, Britt. Appreciate that. Katana from Louisiana. Love it. Okay, thank you. Okay, so you guys have had a ton of comments. I'm like 20 minutes behind on so I'm trying to catch up to the comments as much as I can. So let me do this. Like a bunch of you guys shared some fantastic. This is Noelle. Shake that bitch up. That's amazing. Let me just see. I'll get rid of that question. That's amazing. Just sharing a few others. Let me just check in with you guys. Is there any other questions you guys have? I've been going for about an hour now, and I appreciate you putting up with my hotel internet, my blurry face. Any last minute questions before I hop off? Again, I want to remind you guys, if you haven't binged watch our 8-part video series, to go do that as soon as possible. We're actually closing that down in less than 2 weeks. We're taking that all down. And for those of you guys who don't know what it is, it's called The Rise of the Digital CEO. And basically, I simply show you inside and out how we run our multiple 7-figure a year business. Even if you're not even at 6 figures yet, the quicker and the faster you can start thinking, acting this way, the quicker you're going to grow. But I also show you how to think differently, how to think like a successful entrepreneur. Because quite frankly, most people are just spending all their time and energy on the wrong things. They're trying to do this themselves. They think that if I do my own tech and customer support and all the little $5 an hour tasks that they're saving money. They don't realize that that's wasting months and months of their lives and leaving thousands of dollars on the table. And quite frankly, we want our students, we want our clients and our customers making lots of money, because the more money you're making, the more impact you're creating. Because the transformation begins with the transaction. The people that will pay for your products, your coaching, your membership are those that are putting skin in the game. And when they put skin in the game, when they pay attention. And that's when the magic can work. So if you want to help people and there's a commitment there, but you're not putting your offers out there, you're not launching and you're not selling yet, you're actually not helping anyone. You're staying in your comfort zone. You're doing what's safe. You're doing what you know how, but where's that going to get you? So we want our students making money, because that's one way that we can really start to measure impact. We have some existing Business by Design members here, so don't take my word for it. We have some of my inner circle clients here, so don't take my word for it. But they all know that they can help more people when they get them into their products and programs. And now you guys know as well. So Vicky says, thank you. I binge watched your 8 videos this morning, and I recommend it to anyone here. Michelle says, I'm so close to the next level that it's terrifying. Good for you for just like admitting that. I'm all about being terrified now. Yeah, I love that. So when does it open? Next Monday. I know, it's like still a week away. This has been so awesome, James. So glad I joined BBD. Definitely one of the best investments I've made, hands down. Thank you so much. Leonie says, does the course show you how to generate traffic? Okay, so yes, but here's the most important thing I want you to get. Not having traffic isn't necessarily a problem, because there's a lot of people that have traffic and they can't convert it. So it's far more important that we have the right strategy, marketing, and messaging in place for the traffic that we do have. So yes, there is a ton of my my marketing and traffic getting processes, how we build traffic in my business, how we attract an audience. But understand, and that's like the biggest thing I can offer, is that anybody can get traffic. Okay, because you can just run a Facebook ad, but it doesn't mean that traffic's going to convert. And I'm not just talking about leads and sales. Like, I'm talking about people that fall in love with you and your message. And that's far more important. Far more important. Okay, good. So yeah, Georgie says, how do you differentiate between your business vision and business mission? I don't. You can put it all together. Like, I really would encourage that this isn't this perfect thing. You know, like if you're used to being a good student, Georgie, like don't worry about getting this right. This is just for you. This is about what direction are we going, and that's the most important. So you could have both. You could have it be the same. It doesn't really matter. There is no one right way to do it. Okay. So I hope that answers. Might not have been the answer you wanted, but that's what our experience has been. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Again, jameswedmore.com/rise. That's going to take you into our 8-part video series for you to go watch. We go deeper on how to craft your vision and how to communicate your vision. And we start to go into the 4 other ingredients in building your thriving online business and what it's really going to take. We've also got a free Facebook group. We're streaming this in the group now. So once you go log in and create your free Netflix style account, you'll have an opportunity to join us in the group. I'm going to be doing one of these every single day. We're going to do deeper dives on the different topics that are discussed in the video series. So make sure to watch that video series now so you're caught up and continue with the rest of us. Then we are opening enrollment into Business by Design next Monday, and we'll have all the details for you guys on that. But that's coming up fast, and we're only going to have the doors open for a few days. So thank you guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nico. Hey, Mel, nice to see you. Always good to see you, sir. All right, you guys, get back to it. Have a phenomenal day. Thank you for spending time with me. I truly appreciate it. Go out there, craft that vision, and make a difference. I'll talk to you guys soon.